Look at your hand for a moment. Whatever color it is, you're looking at far more than skin. You're looking at a survival story. Your ancestors began writing hundreds of thousands of years ago. That story became one of the longest and most extraordinary transformations in human evolution. Every shade of skin is an echo of countless generations adapting to survive. The strangest part is this: none of it happened by chance. Your appearance wasn't shaped by luck. Nature was making decisions long before you existed. This is the story of a silent negotiation between your ancestors and a distant star. One side never cared. The other simply struggled to stay alive. To understand it, we'll need to follow a trail that leads through Africa. Vitamin D, folate, cancer, ice ages, and the hidden forces that quietly shaped humanity.
Every nation, every language, every face alive today can be traced back to one ancient population, the people who carried the first chapter of our story. But somewhere along that journey, something changed. A tiny shift inside our DNA quietly rewrote the appearance of entire populations. Over thousands of generations, that invisible change spread from one family to another until entire continents began to look different. The question is, why? Before we answer that, we need to understand the quiet guardian you've carried since birth. Your skin has always been doing far more than you realize. Most people see skin as nothing more than a covering, a wrapper that keeps everything inside. But evolution never wastes something so large on a single purpose. Your skin is the largest organ in your body. Every second, it performs dozens of silent tasks without asking for recognition, keeping you alive in ways you rarely notice. One of its greatest responsibilities is standing between you and the invisible energy pouring from the sun every single day. Ultraviolet light doesn't arrive with a warning. It quietly breaks chemical bonds, damages DNA, and leaves tiny scars inside your cells. If enough of those invisible scars accumulate in the wrong place, they can become something far more dangerous: melanoma, one of the deadliest forms of skin cancer. This is where skin color stops being about appearance. Hidden inside your skin is melanin, a remarkable molecule that has protected human life for countless generations.
Melanin is more than a pigment. It's one of evolution's oldest defense systems, quietly filtering dangerous UV before it reaches the DNA that defines you. The more melanin your skin carries, the darker it appears. But that color is really the visible signature of an invisible shield working beneath the surface. In the intense sunlight of ancient Africa, dark skin wasn't an advantage. It was protection written directly into the human body by natural selection. Generation after generation, those with more melanin protected their DNA more effectively. Nature quietly rewarded the bodies that survived. Surviving wasn't enough. You had to survive long enough to raise children. In evolution, that is the only victory that truly matters. Evolution has never cared about beauty, status, or identity. It asks only one ruthless question: did this trait help the next generation survive? Every generation faced the same silent test. If a trait increased survival, it remained. If it didn't, it slowly disappeared into history. Near the equator, the answer was unmistakable. Dark skin kept working generation after generation, beneath the same relentless sun. But survival is rarely simple. The sun wasn't finished testing humanity. It threatened something even fragile than skin itself. Hidden inside the human body was another battle, one that determined whether the next generation would even have the chance to exist.
The sun wasn't only threatening your skin, it was quietly attacking something almost invisible, something that could end a new life before it truly began. That hidden molecule is called folate, a form of vitamin B9. It moves silently through your bloodstream, helping life build itself from the very beginning. Most people think of vitamins as nutrition. Evolution saw something very different. To nature, folate meant the difference between a future generation and none at all. For every human embryo, folate helps form the neural tube, the fragile structure that will become the brain and spinal cord. Without enough folate, that process can fail. Sometimes the damage is severe. Sometimes the pregnancy ends before anyone even realizes it existed. Now the story becomes even darker. Ultraviolet radiation doesn't just damage DNA, it also destroys folate circulating inside the body. Under the relentless African sun, that invisible loss happened every single day. Without protection, every pregnancy carried a greater risk. For women with less melanin, more UV reached the bloodstream, destroying more folate and quietly reducing the chances of healthy offspring. By now, evolution had two powerful reasons to favor dark skin. It protected the individual, and it protected the generations still waiting to be born. Melanin became more than a shield against sunlight. It became a silent guardian of human survival, protecting both our DNA and our future. Two invisible threats, one extraordinary solution. For hundreds of thousands of years, melanin quietly protected the future of our species. It shielded DNA, preserved folate, and gave countless families a better chance to survive. Few adaptations in human history were this successful. If evolution could speak, it would call dark skin one of its greatest achievements. It wasn't about appearance, it was about survival. So why did such a powerful adaptation begin to disappear? Why would nature replace something that had worked for so long? Because evolution never creates perfect solutions. It only creates solutions that fit the environment of the moment. When the world changes, survival changes too. Around 70,000 years ago, some of our ancestors took a journey that would quietly reshape the human story forever. They began leaving Africa. No grand expedition, no master plan, just one generation walking a little farther than the last until new worlds slowly opened before them. But every step north changed something invisible. The sunlight grew weaker, the seasons harsher, and the rules of survival quietly began to shift. In northern lands, sunlight became a rare resource rather than an endless threat. For the first time, the human body needed to capture light instead of hiding from it. This very trait that once kept your ancestors alive now created a new problem. This time, the challenge wasn't cancer or folate, it was vitamin D. Your skin is something extraordinary. Every time UVB reaches it, your body begins creating vitamin D, turning sunlight into one of life's essential resources. Vitamin D isn't just another nutrient. It quietly controls how your body absorbs calcium, building the bones that carry you through life. Without enough vitamin D, the body begins to fail from the inside. Children's bones bend as they grow, while adults gradually lose their strength. For women, the cost could be even greater. Softened pelvic bones made childbirth far more dangerous, threatening both mother and child. A simple lack of sunlight could quietly shape entire families. Fewer healthy births meant fewer descendants to carry those genes forward. Vitamin D influences far more than bones. It supports muscles, immunity, and countless hidden systems working silently inside your body every day. Now, imagine carrying the perfect African adaptation into Northern Europe 40,000 years ago. Suddenly, your greatest strength became your greatest limitation. Melanin couldn't tell the difference between harmful and helpful sunlight. It blocked both, leaving too little UV to produce the vitamin D people now desperately needed. The rules had changed. In northern climates, surviving no longer meant blocking the sun. It meant letting enough light pass through your skin. Tiny genetic mutations that reduced melanin suddenly became an advantage. Those who captured more sunlight stayed healthier, raised more children, and slowly changed the future of humanity. Generation after generation, the change was almost invisible. Skin grew slightly lighter, not for beauty, but because every extra ray of sunlight increased the chance of survival. For centuries, scientists believed this transformation happened slowly, but ancient DNA has revealed a very different story, one that surprised even the experts. Some of Europe's earliest hunter-gatherers still carried dark skin long after leaving Africa. The old image of ancient Europeans was never as simple as we once imagined. Cheddar Man is one of the most famous examples. He lived in Britain around 10,000 years ago, and evidence suggests he likely had dark skin and striking blue eyes. The fair skin many people associate with Europe today became widespread only within the last 6,000 to 8,000 years. Your skin isn't simply a color, it's a living record of every challenge your ancestors overcame. And if you're curious about the hidden stories still written inside the human body, stay with Auralis. There are many more echoes waiting to be discovered.